Hello, a very warm welcome to Canary Wharf for today's press conference. In just 2 days' time, history will be made at the O2. We cannot wait. Johnny Nelson, Matt Macklin, what a main event, what a co-main event, and what a stacked undercard. If you just look around this room, we were just saying beforehand, it's got that big fight feel, hasn't it? Almost like a pay-per-view week, isn't it, Johnny?
You know, when you look at a build-up to a fight in fight week like this, you know fight night is going to be big because it's got the attention of the media, because they know it's got the attention of the general public. Why has it got the attention of the general public? Because it's an iconic night. I heard tickets jump from 4,000 to 12,000 to 15,000 for the show. On fight night, look around at the crowd of the people that are there. There will not be normal fighting crowd people, but it'll be a new audience, which is now being able to appeal to you. Think, you know what, we want to back this because this is going to be a wicked fight. I'm an ex-fighter, and I know there's some good fights on this bill.
This is the thing. It is a great fight. Loads of great fights on the bill, Matt. It's not just a big night for women's boxing, but it's a huge night for boxing in general, Matt.
Yeah, as Johnny said, you come in here, if you didn't know, you'd think this was a big pay-per-view event between two men fighting. Yeah. That's what you would have known. So that shows you the appetite for this card. I think the two main fights are almost impossible to pick a winner in. I think the styles are really going to gel. I don't think we're going to be disappointed. I think they really are going to live up to all expectations. And it is groundbreaking. We mentioned it earlier on the media workout on the boat. We said, 10 years, it's almost 10 years since to the date from the London Olympics were over. And it's like, if you'd have said then that in 10 years would be here, there's no way you would have believed it.
Exactly that, Matt, because Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall, it is 10 years in the making. And that rivalry, the bad blood, Johnny, is very much a real thing, isn't it?
It's real because Savannah is the only fighter that Claressa doesn't have one over. Now, she calls herself the greatest woman fighter in the world, the GWOAT. So it's hard to say that when you know there's somebody out there that's better than you. So she needs to right that wrong as far as she's concerned. Savannah, if it came to a war of the words, Claressa wins hands down. So Savannah's been smart. She's stayed in the lane. She's dropped a couple of one-liners and not really gone into hard verbal confrontation with her because Claressa's sharp. She's smart. She's on it. She'll go there. So Savannah knows I'm going to do enough right now to wind you up, reel you in. So when it comes to fight night and the bell goes, you are not going to think tactic. You're going to think brawn, try and walk me down, try and bully me. And that's exactly what Savannah would want. That she's got long levers. She can box. She can move. 12 fights, knocked 10 of them out. She can bang. Claressa's 12 fights, only knocked 2 out, says she can fight, but she can't bang.
Most of the times when we've spoken to Claressa and asked her about that one loss on her professional amateur record, and that is, of course, to Savannah Marshall, she's brushed it off, Matt, said it doesn't bother her. Are you buying that, or do you think that is something she wants to right that wrong, and is that even more motivation, I guess, for her on Saturday night?
I don't think it's affected her confidence. Obviously, it hasn't affected her confidence as performing because she was 17 years old. It was a very competitive fight.
But does that eat you up?
No, I think it'll grate on her a little bit that there's someone that can say, well, I beat you, and actually she's undefeated and she's world champion. So it's not someone that hasn't also excelled and gone on to achieve. And if anything, over the last 12 months, Savannah, I think, hit another level. I think her confidence really starting to believe in herself. She believes in her trainer, Peter Fury. And they're a great team, and the performances have showed that. So I think this fight is coming around at the perfect time. I think people are very much divided on who they think is going to win. I think over here...
And it's changing daily. It's one of those fights, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I think over here, the momentum, and you're as good as your last fight. Savannah kind of has that with her. But I think you can't just look on Claressa's last performance and then it doesn't undo all the things she's achieved in her career. I think it was just probably a little bit below par performance. But listen, styles make fights.
And Matt, you've got to also look at the maturity of both fighters. Now, when they both boxed originally, Claressa was probably more mature than Savannah, but Savannah still had the beating of her. Now, she's mature. She believes in all her ability, believes in everything she can do. She's not going to crack under the pressure of people, the expectation of people. Claressa is now thinking Savannah still has that same broken mentality, which is why she was more successful as a professional and an amateur up to this point. She needs to get that out of her head. because she will struggle to show respect where respect's due otherwise.
Well, you're someone, Johnny, that has known Savannah a very long time, since she was a Sky Scholar. Just how much has she grown in confidence? I mean, we saw her on the boat yesterday. And I don't know what you think, Matt. You were there. She's seen the most confident she's ever been.
But I think that was the biggest blocker for her, was her confidence and self-belief. But now that she's unlocked that, the results have been evident in her performances. They've just gone from strength to strength. So, like I say, for her, I think this is coming at a perfect time. And I think also the fact that women's boxing is where it is now, and this is from top to bottom, the first all-women card, it just shows you how far it's come. And I think it's perfect timing for this particular fight to happen.
What do you think, Johnny? Where's that confidence growth come from? Is it just from the performances in the ring, or do you think that also is Peter Fury as well involved there?
I think that confidence has come from success and failures, experiences, good and bad. And in going through then, sometimes if confidence isn't your forte, if confidence isn't something you're born with, you've got to go through experiences to actually believe in yourself. Savannah has gone through those experiences. She's been in times where the pressure's been on her, people have expected to win. She's crumbled, so she's had to build herself back up from that. She's been in positions where she thought, I've got this, and it's not being good enough. So she's been questioned. Claressa hasn't, as a fighter. I'm not saying in her personal life she hasn't, but as a fighter, Claressa, the only person that's questioning her is Savannah. So therefore, mentally and emotionally, that growth, you've got to go with Savannah.
Matt, we've got to have a word on Maya Baumgartner as well, because that is all set to be a cracker as well. No love lost between those two. Baumgartner, we know she can bang. What do you think that's going to come down to?
I think that's going to be an all-action
I
fight,
think so.
and it's whether or not Baumgartner can hurt Michaela and kind of subdue her and deter her from putting on that pressure, because we know Michaela can fight at a fair old pace. So I think she'll be looking to come with the volume, with their tempo, but it's then with Baumgartner can hit her hard enough to slow her down.
Well, Baumgartner's actually running a little bit late, so our press conference might be slightly delayed. The thing I picked up when I sat down with Michaela and I did that off limits with her is her mentality is very much all or nothing. That is the way she goes into everything in life. And could that be key, do you think, on Saturday night for her?
You've got to have that as a fighter. You've got to have the attitude where you think, I am the best in the world. I'm the best at what I do, and nobody's going to beat you. You've got to have an arrogance. You've got to have you've got to be so selfish in the way you think. So how she talks, how she walks, fighters will recognise that. Baumgartner now has got to go in there and try and break that confidence, because she's confident as well. Even though she's not had an illustrious amateur background, even though she's come through, and now we're all raving about it because of the Terry Harper win. Maya knows that, and so she's saying, you guys are getting gassed over, all right, one decent win she's got. But in reality, she's been beaten on points. She's shorter than me. I can fight. I've been proven. I've got a proven track record. But she's got to make sure she shows that respect going in there against her, and therefore then she'll get the success. If she disrespects Baumgartner going in there, Baumgartner's liable to hit with a shot what she least expects.
It could be fireworks in the ring on Saturday night in that fight, but what do you think up here today, Matt? Do you think we're going to see a bit of back and forth? I mean, it's pretty much a given we are, isn't it?
I think we're going to see as much fireworks now today as we're going to see on Saturday night in the fight. All these girls can more than hold their own when it comes to talking.
I know, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Challenge you, should get up there.
No.
You're glad Adam's out there, aren't
you?
you?
They've actually been putting it out. I thought, very articulate, very matter of fact, don't have to be emotionally driven, apart from the top main bill, of course. But I think, you know what, good on them, great representation.
Definitely right. The undercard press conference is just about ready to get underway. So let's hand you over to Big Mo for the introductions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Canary Riverside Plaza Hotel. My name is Cody Momartz. I go by Big Mo. I'm going to be your ring announcer Saturday evening, but today I am honored to welcome you to the press conference for one of the most highly anticipated boxing cards in history. The first ever all-female card to take place in the United Kingdom. A total of 8 belts, 12 undefeated records will be on the line on Sky Sports and ESPN Plus Saturday evening from the iconic O2 Arena here in London, England. I am joined on stage by 3 of our Olympians competing Saturday night, as well as our co-main event competitors. Introducing first from Macclesfield, Cerys Ardingstall. From Ystrad Mynach, Wales, Lauren Price. From London, the undefeated Sweet Caroline Dubois. And finally, our co-main event is for the IBF, IBO, WBC, and WBO Super Featherweight Championships. First, from Detroit, Michigan, USA. She is the reigning, defending IBO and WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the world. Please welcome Alicia, the Bomb, Baumgardner. Joining Alicia on stage is her trainer, Tony Harrison. Her opponent, from Colorado Springs, Colorado, by way of Woodland Hills, California, she is the reigning, defending IBF, WBO, and Ring Magazine Super Featherweight Champion of the world. Please welcome Michaela Mayer. Joining Michaela on stage is her coach, Alfred Mitchell, as well as the founder and CEO of Top Rank, Mr. Bob Arum. And finally, rounding out this press conference, I would like to welcome the CEO of Boxer, Mr. Ben Shalom, and the head of boxing development for Sky Sports, Mr. Adam Smith. Adam, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Big Mo, and it'll be a pleasure to hear your dulcet tones taking the roof off the O2 on Saturday night. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for such a special occasion in the sporting calendar. The ascent of women's boxing in Britain and around the world is something we're really proud of at Sky. Pioneer was Jane Couch, of course. We've seen Nicola Adams, Katie Taylor for Ireland, the likes of Tasha Jonas, Savannah Marshall, Chantel Cameron, Terry Harper. So many have come through in Britain, and we know in America it's massive as well. And look at Michaela and Alicia up here today in what's going to be an absolute humdinger of a fight. We move on to the TV section of this astonishing card on Sky Sports at the O2 on Saturday night. First of all, I want a word from our Hall of Fame promoter. It is a pleasure to have Bob Arum with us. Bob, welcome back to London. Again, it's really good to see you back, COVID-free. I know you couldn't make it earlier in the year, so great to see you. And you must be really excited about such a special night on Saturday.
I sure am, and, it's so nostalgic to be back in London, coming here, all the rain coming down. I knew exactly where I was, but I wouldn't miss this for the world. This is history. People, years from now, will be talking about this event as being a major part of the history of boxing. These two world title fights are tremendous. The whole card, from top to bottom, all the best women fighters in the world. People will remember Saturday night for a long time to come, and I'm honored to be here and to be part of it and to root on the young lady who started her professional boxing career with us, the champion Michaela Mayer, and I know it's going to be a great, great event on Saturday night.
Well, it's terrific to have you with us, Bob, isn't it, Ben? And as you brought everybody together here, Top Rank, Matchroom, of course, it's fantastic to see the unity ahead of Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't know whether this would happen in the men's sport, but it's been incredible to have so much collaboration from all the promoters. Bob in particular and Top Rank have been a pleasure and been committed to this project since the start. And obviously Matchroom, who represent Alicia, and we know with the main event with Mick Hennessy and Dimitri Salita, this is what the sport needed. And if we didn't do this, it would be too fragmented and we'd never get to the position where the sport really and truly grows. And as Bob said, we have the best females on the planet on this card on Saturday night, and we have the best two fights, I believe, in world boxing right now as well. And it's a special night. It's going to be a special occasion. And again, thank you to the promoters and thank you to all the fighters.
You've met some of the brilliant women already that are going to be on the live stream. Let's go to the TV section of the card. In front of me, the trio of treasures from the Olympics for Great Britain. A wonderful set. Lauren Price, Caris Artingstall and Caroline Dubois. And Ben and I really believe that these three are going to go on to do amazing things in boxing and in sport. Claressa, a quick word with you first of all from Macclesfield. Real character of the sport and a fantastic fighter. Brilliant amateur. We've seen you turn over already. That was a great start. What more do we expect on Saturday in fight number 2?
Just little adaptations, hopefully. Just what I've been working on in the gym. I just hope to show it on Saturday night. I need to get this KO reel up and going, so who knows, maybe it starts this Saturday.
You're going to start knocking them out now, are you?
Well, I hope so. That's part of the game, isn't it? So if I'm not, I'm in the wrong business.
Obviously, you and Lauren are a fantastic story together, side by side. You said to us you wanted to be on different shows because of the tension, the nerves, but you both had to be on this, didn't you?
Yeah, like when we went for the Olympics, the nerves were through the roof. Obviously, when Lauren was boxing for a gold medal, I wanted nothing more than for her to become Olympic champion, obviously, but it was horrible nerve-wise. I didn't really want to experience it again, but what a card to be doing it on, and if we're going to be doing it, this is the show to be doing it on.
Did you enjoy her pro debut or yours more?
50-50.
50-50. Obviously, you've got an exciting style, all action. How quickly do you want to move forward to being, obviously, joining the likes of Alicia and Michaela and Claressa and Savannah at a world title level? How quickly do we move you?
Just as quick as my performances are showing, I suppose. As long as I'm performing and adapting to the pro style, basically, if I'm improving every fight, every opponent you're putting in front of me, I want to step up. If I'm beating them easily, then get me another step up. And it's simple as that, really. If I'm not performing, then I ain't going to be getting to a world title very soon, am I? So it just depends on my performances in the ring, but hopefully quickly.
Marina Sakharov on Saturday night. What do you expect from her and what sort of performance are you going to give us?
I'm not 100% sure what to expect from her. I've seen 1 or 2 clips of her. She seems very cheeky, very cocky, so let's see if she keeps that attitude up on Saturday.
And finally, what does it mean to you to be part of this show? First time ever, an all-female card in the UK, and as Bob said, a historical night.
Yeah, it's incredible. Not is it just only an all-female card. The talent from top to bottom is incredible. Everybody's a very talented fighter, so it's just unbelievable. And the main card and the co-main are both worthy to be headlining any card within boxing. I don't know which one I'm more excited for, if I'm honest. But yeah, I'm just blessed to be part of it.
Thanks, Claressa. Sitting in the middle of the dynamic duo is a young lady who has an extremely bright future, a phenomenal youth amateur, unlucky not to medal in the games. Claressa got bronze, Lauren got gold, but Caroline Dubois was one of Boxer and Sky's first signings in the new deal, and we are genuinely really, really excited. It's been a great start, Caroline, in your 3 fights so far, a couple of knockouts as well. More of the same Saturday night, or a few butterflies on the big stage?
To be honest, it's funny because at the beginning of the week, obviously the big show was in my mind, but I was just focused on it like a fight, just trying to make it so that when I turn up, it's like another day in the gym. But now, coming there, the atmosphere, the attitude, seeing the O2 Arena, even though it was empty, was just ridiculous. I've never, been in the ring, the venue was just, overwhelming, and now it's getting closer and closer and closer, and I just can't wait, it's starting to, click in, and I can't wait to fight.
It's been quite a year for you, hasn't it, with Daniel lifting the WBA regular title, family success. I know how close you are to Shane McGuigan, who's having a great run, isn't he, with the likes of Adam Azim, Chris Billam-Smith recently. So you must feel you're in a really good place with the right people and, of course, Boxer around you.
Exactly. It's a great buzz to be in the gym at the minute. You got Adam Azim fought last week. You have, obviously, my brother, just winning a nice little strap. And I can't wait to build on that. Every time you step in the gym, there's someone fighting. And now it's my turn. It's my turn to perform.
And now it's a step up, isn't it? Former world title challenger Milena Kuleva. Do you think this is the right one at the right time? Because you want to move quickly. And it's difficult, isn't it, holding the elite amateurs back?
For sure, as you've seen in female boxing, whereas compared to the men, there isn't that much of a deep pool. Either you're fighting people that are, what you will call a journeywoman, and then boom, you're straight up there fighting against former world champions, people who fought for world titles or world champions. So, you know, it's at that moment, and I feel like I'm ready. You know, I've been sparring very well, training very well at the gym, and Shane has been, you know, being very positive. He's telling me every day how good I am, and I know how good I am. I just need to go out there and prove it.
And is it a case of performing well and maybe quickly and then getting back to ringside and watching the big fights? Because I know you're close to Claressa, and I know that you respect all four of them so much. It's going to be quite a night as a fan as well, isn't it?
Exactly. It's going to be a crazy night for, you know, for boxing, not just female boxing. And I want to enjoy it, obviously, as a fighter. Go out there and enjoy the nerves, the atmosphere and everything. But I also want to be able to enjoy it as a fan. And I'm a massive boxing fan, so this is a good one for the fans.
It's an amazing one for fight fans. It's a terrific card. Let's bring in Lauren Price. There haven't been many better amateurs ever than Lauren, who, of course, struck gold in everything, Commonwealths, Worlds. I mean, the list is phenomenal. Olympic gold in Tokyo. But at that, all your kickboxing success, your footballing success, and you still want to go from strength to strength. You've got big, big ambitions, haven't you, as a pro now, and now real people to look up to and emulate and maybe even go beyond, Lauren?
Yeah, 100%. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I feel really privileged and proud to be on this card. You know, it's phenomenal. And, yeah, I'm really, you know, had a wonderful amateur career, but, you know, in the programme now, and it's down to business.
We've seen you turn professional. It looked like you've been a professional for years, actually. The adaptation to us seemed pretty seamless. Did you feel that, or do you think it's going to take you time to transition over the course of the next few fights, or do you think you're just ready to go now and take on anyone?
No, I'm going to take my time. Obviously, the programme, everyone knows, is completely different. You know, the first fight, just like little things, getting caught with the head and stuff like that, not wearing an head guard for the first time. But in this game, there's no need to rush. Like you said, like Caroline just said, the pool's not that big. I just want to, you know, look classy each fight, take little step-ups each time, and when the time's right, obviously I got a great team behind me and Rob McCracker, and he knows the game inside out, so I'll just listen to him and go from there.
Yep, you guys have been with Rob for a long time, the general of Team GB, of course, and training up in Sheffield. What about this opponent, Timea Bellic, who's former European champion? I mean, you are stepping up, aren't you, in this one, Lauren?
Yeah, I am a little bit. Obviously, I haven't seen much of her. I know she's on the back foot. She's quite clever on the inside. She looks too old. She fought for a European title, I think, about 3 months ago. She went the full 10 rounds, so she's tough. But I'm sure, you know, I can put on a classy performance on Saturday and get the job done.
And finally, what about sharing the night with Karis, both of you in the ring? Again, it was something neither of you wanted. You've got to deal with it. Is that fine, or is there going to be more nerves sort of watching each other? How are you going to do that, or are you not? You're going to be one of you's going to be backstage and getting ready in the changing room. I guess that's you. Yeah,
do you know what? Yeah, that was the thing. She wanted to go first, but nah, I train alongside her. I know how hard she works, and I know how good she is. I actually had a little spar with her on Tuesday before we come down, and she was whacking me with them body shots. So I know she's 100%, you know, she's prepared. And, yeah, I'll probably watch her from the changing rooms. She's on first, but I'll be there supporting her, and I know she'll do the same for me.
Thanks, Lauren. It's a wonderful story, isn't it? Side by side, Karis and Lauren with Caroline in the middle. I mean, you must be delighted that Boxer have got these three brilliant women, and you have huge plans for them.
We worked so hard, didn't we, Adam? We identified these three as what we felt that could take over the mantelpiece, could be the future of the sport. One thing I do want to say is, what is clear is when we look at 2028 and the consideration to bring boxing out of the Olympics, and we're sat here today because of Claressa Shields winning 2 gold medals, Michaela Mayer obviously went, and these three in front of us who were brought to our attention because of their performances in Tokyo, it'd be an absolute disaster for boxing to not be in the Olympics in 2028. And if ever there was an advert for why it needs to be in, and the interest here today in this card because of what has happened, it's today. And I want to make sure that this is a big, big advert to make sure it does stay within the Olympics.
Yeah, fantastic. Well said, Karis, Caroline and Lauren in action on Saturday night. But let's get to this rather tasty unification up here. Don't think these two like each other very much. Let's get on to the main, or the co-main event here. First of all, brought to you by boxer top ranker Matchroom, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. Frank and Eddie are going to be there Saturday night. Obviously, Bob is with us here, working together in unison to get these fights made. And they don't come better than the IBF, WBC, WBO, and IBO World Super Featherweight unification between Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgardner. First of all, Bob, a word from you about what a great fight it is, full stop.
It sure is. I mean, I know Michaela has been talking about this fight for a long time, and thanks to all of you here, it came to fruition. I really want to thank the two networks for putting it together, Sky and ESPN working together to get this fight on, as well as Claressa's fight and the rest of the card. Again, we are witnessing history as it's happening, and people 10, 20, 30 years from now are going to refer back to September 10th as the start of something really big.
Yep, totally agree with you. Before we get to the brilliant women and what they have got to say today, let's just bring in their teams, both great people down at either end of the table, both legendary, really. Al Mitchell, a few words from you, obviously, about your work together with Michaela and how you've seen her come through. You must be ever so proud.
I'm definitely am. You know what surprised me? I won't go to train no woman. They'll tell you my history. I'm from Philadelphia, and we just don't go that way. But the last 2 years, I feel sorry for all you guys that's married. Because if you got a woman, the last 2 years, these women been mean. So be nice when you go back home to talk to your lady. But Michaela, she come up hard. She had to go to school. She had to work. The things she did, I never had an athlete and do that, a man athlete. I had 11 Olympians and over 800 national champs. And all those men, they wouldn't do half the work that she do. And I'm seeing it from the young ladies. These last 2 years, when you think about it, all the good fights is coming from the women. The guys is ducking each other, looking for the easy way. Hey. I'm telling you like it is, you know. So again, you know, this young lady done did everything I asked of her. And she did more. And I'm watching all the young ladies that's boxing now. It's like they trying to prove they better than men. Now, we knew they was kind of there, but now they showing that they mean. You know, in the old days in Philly, we call these guys crazy. And that's the way these women are. So when you go back home, speak nice to your lady.
And Al, it must have taken you something to come out of Philly. We know that the history in Philly, the blue-collar city of boxing. What about this as a fight for Michaela? It's dangerous. It's full of everything. It's what the fans want to see.
Well, at this level, all the fights is dangerous, you know. Long as they got two hands. A long while back, I fought a guy down Atlantic City that had a nub, and he knocked my kid out. I never underestimate anybody no more. And you probably remember Bob long way back in the 60s down Atlantic City. So I never underestimate. But the women is putting their tails on the line. This is a good fight. Look at Katie last fight. This is the time when it's great fights. And the young ladies is putting them together. Absolutely. I'm just hoping that I don't be 90 years old before Crawford and Spence fight.
Thank you, Al. And a great shout-out while we've got it to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. What a fight that was this year. I want to go down to Tony Harrison at the end. We've seen him in the ring. Obviously, he's got a different job on Saturday night. Fantastic to have you with us, Tony. Do you echo Al's words that there's nothing better at the moment than these female matches?
I think these women are changing the tide on how people look at women's boxing. I'm gonna say it myself that I'm not a true I'm not a true audience for like, I wasn't like a true audience for like women's boxing, but now that the best are fighting the best, and I tuned in, the Katie Taylor and the Savannah fight was just amazing, and I'm talking about they put it all on the line each and every time. For me, AB said Michaela's name so much, I just had to go look at her. She said her name so much every single day, and I'm talking about this girl was in this girl's future, and I could tell because she talked about her so much. So I just had to go look at Michaela, and I thought Michaela was a pretty decent fighter herself. You know what I mean? But I knew this path for AB was coming because she talked about it so much, and she talked it into existence. You know what I mean? So, like I said, once again, the women's fighter, the best are fighting the best, and that's the way you continue the sport, and that's the way the sport is going to be gracious.
And having studied Michaela, do you think this is going to be every bit as good as we hope?
I don't think so, but I think the attitudes of both women are very competitive, and I think they both gonna come out very strong. And I think whoever's will break the first is the person that's gonna lose this fight.
Thank you, Tony. Let's get straight to the fine ladies. Michaela, I know you've called this fight out. I think ever since Alicia beat Terry Harper, you've been on her. You've wanted this. You want to become undisputed at super feather. How big a night is this for you? Not only is it a hard fight to get through and win, but for the moment, for women's boxing, for everything you've fought for so long.
Yeah, I've worked extremely hard to get to this point in my career. So I'm not stopping now. There's no way I'm going to let this fight get away from me. I know how unforgiving this sport can be, and I know that even though I'm on top of my game now and I feel like I'm the best, it can be taken away from you at any moment. So it's going to be just as hard to stay in this position as it was to get here, and I've had that mentality throughout this whole camp. I know there's been a lot of trash talk between me and Baumgartner, but I respect her enough to have trained extremely hard for this fight, and I plan on getting a strong, tough version of her on Saturday.
You say about the trash talking that there's needle, everyone likes some spice. How did it really start, and what do you think now of her? You say you respect her, but obviously you haven't enjoyed this part, have you?
Listen, it comes with the territory. I understand this comes with the territory. This is entertainment at the end of the day, and I think these rivalries are good for women's boxing. So there's that, but I also know that none of it matters. All that matters is what we do, and we walk into that ring on Saturday night. So I've fully prepared myself for a war.
And what do you have to do to win this and pick up another world title?
I have to listen to my corner, listen to Coach Al. You know, he's a strategist. He always has a great game plan for me. It's never failed me. And so I need to trust in him and do exactly what we planned. And the good thing about Coach Al's game plan, if one doesn't work, we have another one. So I feel like at this stage in my career, I'm a complete fighter. I can fight in all areas of the ring. If it has to be a dogfight, it's going to be a dogfight. And it can also be a boxing lesson. I'm ready to go in either direction. I'm prepared for both. I've had the experience, and I can do both.
And we've had you over here in Britain as an excellent commentator and pundit, but the stage is now yours in the ring. How does that go with you? London, obviously we know about the Spice Girls and everything else. You must be it must be a dream come true to actually fight here as well on this sort of night.
Yeah, it's been, we've obviously wanted to come over here. I wanted to come over here, and I wanted to get in front of these UK fans. It was definitely on my team's list of places for me to come and fight and perform. Obviously, women's boxing has grown so much here. It's still a little bit of a challenge in America, and it's something that I am working very hard to sort of break down barriers and build it up there. But I'd be silly to not come over here and capitalize on these great fans who are definitely showing up for us and excited to see us in the ring.
Thanks, Michaela. Alicia Baumgartner is someone who is not worried, I don't think, about coming to Britain. I mean, on the success she's had so far in Sheffield and in Manchester, the third time here in the capital. And you've lit a fuse here, or the two of you have. You've been back and forth. Is the talking now done? Is it now just about what happens Saturday night in the ring?
It's always about what happens Saturday night. Again, this has been a great build-up for boxing, for the sport, and for this historic moment that's going to happen September 10th. And I'm so excited to be a part of something like this. And Saturday night's going to be fireworks.
Michaela says she respects you. You respect her, obviously, as an athlete, as a champion. What about the needle? What about the trash talking?
Yes, at the end of the day, I respect her. She's a fighter just like I am. The trash talk, again, it's fight week. I'm ready to go. I've been preparing for this moment for a very long time. I know that I'm at the top of my game. And again, 20 years in this sport, this is where I'm supposed to be.
She's unbeaten. What makes you think you can be the first to beat her, maybe even stop her? What's going to happen?
Anybody can be beat. My record shows that. I have a loss on my record. I did not let that define me. I came back stronger and came back fighting. So again, I set my mind to be undisputed at 130. And this is another moment in my career to make sure that happens and that my hand would be risen September 10th.
Is it another moment, or is it the biggest test yet for you on the biggest stage?
Every test is a big test when I step in that ring, but this Saturday is going to really mark my spot in this sport, who I am as an athlete, who I am as one of the best women fighters.
And do you think this steals the show? Obviously, we have Claressa and Savannah after you. Everybody cannot wait for that. Do you think this could be even better?
They're both going to be great cards. Again, the animosity is real between Michaela and I, as it is for Claressa and Savannah. So this card is just packed with, electrifying energy. So, I'm sure everyone's looking forward to both fights.
I think we got a rather frosty handshake the other day. Have you got a message for Michaela, a final one before battle?
I'm a wrestler at heart. So if you know anything about wrestling, we always do firm handshakes. But Saturday night, again, I'm confident in my experience in this sport, what I do as a professional. I'm ready. I was born for this, made for this, and this is my moment.
Michaela, a final message to Alicia ahead of Saturday night.
It seems as though I feel like she's disregarded what I've accomplished in this sport and my skill level. And like I said, I respected her enough to train my absolute hardest for a very badass version of Baumgartner. I trained for that, and I hope she respects me enough to do the same.
Prediction?
I'm going to take her into deep waters. She likes to box. She likes to stay safe. And I'm going to take her in places that she's never been before. She's definitely never been in the ring with someone like me. I'm absolutely her biggest test.
Last word for you, Alicia. What's going to happen?
Michaela is nobody different. Again, I've been wanting to fight this girl since the amateur days. She's a seasoned amateur. She's turned pro. I'm a pro. So again, we're going to see the professionalism at the highest level. I'm an elite athlete. So you will see the technique, the skill, the power, and all that's going to all come together September 10th. And again, undisputed at 130.
And both of them have spoke so beautifully, no problems at all, although there is a little tension here Ben, isn't there?
Yeah, I didn't expect that after this week, but what a fight. What a rivalry.
Hold on, you didn't ask the right question.
At least you was ready to go. No, I can feel it up here. Alicia is, I can definitely see that she is ready. This really feels like she believes this is her moment, but obviously Michaela coming in will believe it's hers. It's a phenomenal fight. It's a phenomenal rivalry. It's phenomenal talents and personalities. It could have headlined any card all over the world, and it's special that it's going to be in the O2 on September the 10th, on Saturday night, with these three in front of us as well. Incredible. And again, thank you to Bob. Thank you to Matchroom. Thank you to Sky. Thank you to ESPN. What a fight we have on our hands.
Yeah, terrific fight. Unification in the super featherweight division. Michaela and Alicia putting it all on the line, as well as Karis and Caroline and Lauren and everyone we've met earlier. A fantastic night on Saturday awaits. One more to go. Just Claressa and Savannah to come up in a few moments' time, and they'll all pose for pictures and interviews with every one of you. Thank you, ladies. Enjoy it. Have a great night.
Well, Matt, things didn't quite kick off as we expected, but you can feel the tension there. I mean, Alicia Baumgartner, she just put Ben in a place, didn't she, right there?
You know, I think they were both very respectful.
Yeah.
But they both, I think, exude confidence, and neither girl has any doubts in their mind that they're going to be victorious. Now, one of them's got to be wrong. We don't know who that's going to be yet. Both supremely confident. Both acquitted themselves perfectly. There was needle, but there was respectful. I think they're just all talked out now. I just want to get in the ring.
That's exactly what I was going to say to you, Johnny. That it kind of feels like Matt just said, that all the talking is done. That they're just ready to fight. You reach that point, do you, as a fighter?
And in a respectful way as well. You know you're going to get decent fights between every single one of them up there. And especially with Baumgartner and Maya, I just think that fight, it's simmering. It says it all. You know, if Bob Aaron's flown all the way over here to sit in this fight, you know, they mean business. They expect to win. So to me, I think it's going to be a... Look at those two. Look at them. To me, belts galore. What attitude, what swagger. What a fight.
An ultimate self-confidence and self-belief, Matt.
Oh, absolutely, as you'd expect. You know, Michaela undefeated. Alicia isn't undefeated, but as she said, those losses haven't defined her. They've only sort of remotivated her, made her look at herself even more, look for those improvements, make the adjustments, and she's a better fighter now because of it. A bit of talk in there now.
A bit of talk. Michaela's sort of laughing it off. What do you think's being said, Johnny?
You know what? That picture tells 1,000 words, and those two, there's a stubbornness with both fighters there to say, you're not intimidating me, you're not getting to me, I have the better of you. And we'll see that Friday. We'll see that Saturday night. You know that because if they want to get in each other's face, they know they just need that little mental edge to the point where they'll be on and on and on.
Neither of them want to back down, Matt.
No, that's it. They both are trying to have the last say.
Still going on.
You know, and even tomorrow the weigh-in, you know, there'll probably be a bit more.
Okay, let's just having a slight little word there to Alicia. Oh, and it's still going. This is what we want to see, though. This is what gives that fight the extra needle, the extra spite.
Yeah, look, two fighters believing they're the better and absolutely convinced it's going their way. These are the final little heads-to-heads now at the weigh-in tomorrow, and then the next time they see each other will be in the ring on Saturday night.
Well, what do you think it will come down to, Johnny? I mean, is this fight going the distance?
Well, this fight is for Maya to win or lose. And the reason why I say that is because she has the pedigree, she has the talent, she has the skill to get the job done. The case of if she gets too emotionally invested in this and ends up having a war when she shouldn't have a war, use her boxing ability, use the skill that's got that pedigree. If she does that, the fight's easier. It's not easy, but easier for her. If she stands there to have a tear up, which Baumgartner wants, then she's walking into a minefield.
How hard do you think it is going to be, not just for our main event fighters, but for all the fighters? I mean, Caroline touched on it there. The magnitude of the O2 Arena, the atmosphere is going to be electric. It is such a huge occasion, a lot riding on this, a historic night. How do you think they'll all keep their emotions in check? How important is it that they all do?
No, absolutely, but I don't see it as a negative. I see it as a positive. I think it'll spur them on. I think it'll motivate them to perform to their best. I think everyone on the card are going to perform to their best. I mean, I know someone's going to lose in all the fights, but I don't think it'll be because they don't perform. I don't think anyone's going to sort of be overawed. I think they're going to really rise to the occasion.
Can we just take a moment as well to say how good is Al Mitchell? I mean, he had the crowd, didn't he? In roars of laughter. I said to you, didn't I? Can you imagine Al Mitchell and Buddy McGirt at a dinner party?
Do you know
how good those stories would be?
When Al was talking about Michaela, I just kept thinking about $1 Million Baby. You know, I was thinking Morgan Freeman in that film. It was, you know, but yeah, no. I mean, he's trained many world champions over the years, a US Olympian, Olympic teams as well. Great coach, and to hear him talk about, you know, she's done more than the men. She's done anything like that. She's gone above and beyond. It shows what it means to her, how much she wants it. completely turned her life around. I was reading up on, she used to smoke and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
now
she was a rebellious teenager. Used to go out for weeks on end as a teenager and basically just not come home. And it was boxing that really turned everything around for her. And that relationship with Al that has grown over the years. Because like he said, when she first entered the gym, he didn't want to take on a female fighter, and not only has that changed hugely, but their relationship over the years has changed, because I guess she almost had to prove herself to
It's about
him.
respect. It's respect and belief in both fighters, and that's where we are now. It's about respect and belief, and so to the point where she's not. This is an accident.
We're talking about you, Michaela.
Hey guys, what's up?
How are you? I mean, we were expecting a few more words up there, but you seem like you both just want to get in the ring now, and it's all about business.
That's exactly it. Like, I feel like we've done all the talking. I mean, with the media here the last 2 weeks, like, everyone wants to hear all this talk, but like at the end of the day, that's not what I'm here to do. I've done enough talking. We've done enough talking. We've said everything we had to say. It's time to fight it out.
We were just talking about your relationship with Al and how it's changed over the years and how he didn't want to take you on, but almost like you had to prove yourself in the beginning because he didn't want to take on any female fighters.
Coach Al, yeah. When he first brought me on, it was sort of just to fill a spot in the program that he had, and I knew that I was great, or at least I thought I was, but I was definitely a diamond in the rough. Like, I don't think out of all the guys, all the really, really talented guys that he had, that I would be the one still with him, still by his side, world champion, and having such a career.
What kind of things have you been working on in camp in particular for this fight?
Strong jabs are really, really important going into this fight. She obviously wants to counter, and that's exactly how Terry Harper got caught, a lazy jab. So everything we throw has to be strong and commit to our punches. Lots of different things, honestly. Like I said, Coach Al always has a couple game plans. He always has different plans in case things go south, because we don't know exactly what she's going to do when she steps in that ring.
This is getting cozy up here. Coach Al has come to join us. I guess you're not going to give too much away about what you've been working on in camp, but can you give us an insight into how Michaela does beat Alicia on Saturday night?
Say that again, please.
Can you give us an insight into how Michaela does beat Alicia on Saturday night?
I want to be very careful with this. If she stay behind the jab, do the things that she used to do. And I seen something in the gym. It say you should listen to your coach. If she listen to the coaches, we got a good chance of winning it.
He doesn't want to give away the game plan. He's very particular about that.
Keeping his cards close to his chest.
No one ever does. I spoke to you about this, but I'm interested to hear from your point of view how your relationship over the years has changed from when you first took on Michaela.
Well, she's like my daughter now. My girlfriend crazy about her, my brothers and sisters crazy about her, my whole family and everything. And I'm tight with her mother and father. She got a great personality. And after 5 or 6 years, I sat back one time, and she reminded me of certain athletes, guys I had in Philadelphia. She determined like them. She put her butt on the line. She worked harder than the guys I had. I mean, she gets up 5 in the morning and run. She go to school, come back in the afternoon, lift weights, go to the gym. She do more than the guys do. And she put her tail on the line. And the last 2 or 3 years, she's getting minimally smart. She's getting to see things before they happen. That's an exceptional athlete, when you see things before they happen.
How important do you think is it going to be for you to keep your emotions in check on Saturday? Because there has been a lot of back and forth, an enormous amount of back and forth. You two do not like each other, so how hard is that going to be for you? Do you think it is going to be hard to keep your emotions in check?
It's not hard. I can keep my emotions in check. She's the one y'all got to worry about. I mean, you see, she's more about, she's giving into her emotions more than I am. That's not how I was raised. I was raised and trained by someone like Coach Al, and we go in there meaning business. It's a serious business. We have a game plan, we have a strategy, and it's work, and it's a job. I'll leave all this behind me easily.
Before you let you go, we've got to have a quick word on Shields. Marshall, What are you thinking? As you're going to go Shields, of course you're going to go Shields. But what kind of fight are you expecting?
Of course, I'm Team Shields. But this is going to be a great fight. Two different styles, kind of similar to me and Baumgartner, right? In the sense where you have supposedly this big puncher, and then someone like me and Claressa who have a very high work rate, faster, quicker, and very aggressive. So. We'll see, but I'm definitely rooting for Claressa Shields. I think that she'll close that space and overwhelm Savannah. She's got to keep her hands up. But Savannah, we'll see if Savannah really does have that power. Same with Baumgartner.
Do you know what? Best of luck. Very much looking forward to seeing you on Saturday night. We'll see you at the weigh-in tomorrow. Coach Al, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Great to see
you. And like you say, in this sport, you need the luck, and you need the man upstairs smiling at you. And usually we got everybody smiling at us.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
We love a smile. Coach Al, thank you very much. We shall just whiz in here. The main event presser is just about to get underway. Savannah is making her way to the stage. As we said, not too much spice between Michaela and Baumgartner, but this one, I think there could be a little bit of needle. Is that an understatement? A little bit of needle.
Yeah, and I think we'll see that Saturday night. There's no nonsense, and there's no nonsense. We will see it Saturday night. So again, this is the other half of the the dance couple.
Alicia, good to see you.
Good to see you.
We've just had a quick word with Michaela. It does seem all calm and collected now. Like you just want to get the fight up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, our first initial meetup was the handshake, and so those. It was everything was built up, but now I'm in my comfort. I'm comfortable. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready. There's nothing else.
Are you confident that you have got the upper hand going into the fight on Saturday night?
Absolutely. You have to know that you have the upper hand. If not, then what are you doing in this sport? You have to have confidence. You have to have confidence in your skill and what you're doing, and that's what I have.
Matt, you're very much looking forward to this fight. You think this potentially could really catch fire, this one, and it is the one to watch?
Yeah, well, I think the two main event fights, I think you've got the work rate against the puncher. So can she overwhelm you with her work rate, or can you put her in her place with your power? That's how I see it.
Yeah, it only takes one shot. And because, she does have an amateur style, she's going to come forward, she's going to throw a lot of punches. And all that is, that's why you have defense. You don't get hit with those punches. You roll under those punches, and you come back with those punches. So
Can I just ask, is it part of the game plan to try and get under her skin so she stands there to war with you? Does that suit you better?
Honestly, when that bell rings, you will see the adjustment. You can have a game plan, but that game plan can go out the window. So as a fighter and as an experienced fighter, you make adjustments in that ring every second, every minute.
Before we let you go, it is going to be a really special night on Saturday. How proud of you to be part of that?
I'm very proud, just to see my career flourish the way it has. I'm excited. I know that one day I'll look back on this day as a coach, as a future mother, that I was part of a historic event, that I became unified champion that night.
Well, we'll see on Saturday night, won't we? Weigh in tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us this year. Right.
Thank you.
Almost time. I'm very much looking forward to this, Johnny. Anything could happen.
Yeah, I think this is the pièce de résistance, what we're all waiting for to see how this one rocks out. We got a little taste of it there with mine from Gardner. I just think these two will tell us a different story. I think this is the last time, bar the weigh-in, where Shields can really try and make a mental impression on Marshall.
Savannah looking very calm there, very relaxed, Matt, which is, well, I guess what we expect to see. Which is very confident Savannah you saw yesterday on the boat.
Yeah, really confident. As was Claressa, as was Michaela, as was Alicia. All of them are absolutely confident in their abilities, in their game plan, in their team. And, really, they're all talked out by now. And it's the final presser that will come face to face again tomorrow for the weigh-in. But I just think we've got two great fights. We've got four great fighters. It's going to be two amazing fights, and I just can't wait now.
Yeah, well, we can go now. Fine. Main event presser is about to get underway, so let's hand you back to Big Mo for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, we would like to thank our official partners, Bet365, Everlast, Village Hotels, and Wow Hydrate. Following this press conference, we will have a media scrum for all non-broadcast media, as well as a round table for all written media. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the names on the marquee Saturday evening at the O2 Arena here in London. The main event, 10 rounds for the undisputed women's middleweight championships of the world. The United States of America versus the United Kingdom. For this press conference, please welcome back first on stage the head of boxing development for Sky Sports, Mr. Adam Smith, as well as the CEO and presenter of this event, a boxer, Mr. Ben Shalom. I would also like to introduce the promoter on Claressa Shields' side, the head of Salita Promotions, Mr. Dimitri Salita. And finally, joining us on stage as well is Savannah Marshall's coach, Mr. Peter Fury. And now introducing the two halves of this historic main event of the first ever all-female card in the United Kingdom. First, from Hartlepool, England, the undefeated and two-time Olympian, the reigning, defending WBO women's middleweight champion, Savannah, the silent assassin, Marshall. And her opponent, she comes to us from Flint, Michigan, in the United States of America, introducing the undefeated, two-time Olympic gold medalist and the reigning, defending WBA, WBC, IBF, and Ring Magazine women's middleweight champion. She is known around the world as the GOAT, the greatest woman of all time. Please welcome Claressa Shields. Adam Smith, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Big Mo. Finally, we are here. 2 more sleeps to go ahead of the question we've waited a decade for the answer. Who is the greatest middleweight on the planet? It's a massive event, a magical clash for the undisputed treasure, pitting these extraordinary women together. To my right, the GOAT, Claressa Shields, multiple gold medal winner, multiple world title champion, one of America's biggest role models. And on the other side, the pride of our Northeast, Britain's silent assassin, the world amateur champion, the only conqueror of Claressa Shields, the powerful Savannah Marshall, who's in the form of her life as a world champion. There's passion, there's needle, there's elite skills, and no one can pick a winner. Ben, it's got everything.
We're finally here, guys. It's been a long 12 months getting to this position. It's been 10 years for both of these athletes and both of these women. I want to thank Dimitri, Salita, and Mark Taffett, who've been incredible to work with, incredible promoters of Claressa Shields, and Mick Hennessy and Peter Fury with Savannah Marshall. We've worked hard on it because we believed there was something special. We all knew it. We all felt it. We knew it had to get done. We knew it had to be done. What thing that really stands out is these two women not only are achieving their own dreams on Saturday night, but are achieving women's boxing's dreams, which was to be taken seriously, which was to stand on its own 2 feet, which was to not be propped up by men's fights and heavyweight fights, but to sell out an O2 themselves. And it's an incredible feat. When these two turned over, women's boxing wasn't like this. They turned over because they loved the sport, because they had a passion for the sport, because they were uniquely talented. They're about to create a pathway for girls in gyms all around the country and all in the US because of what's happening on Saturday night. And I couldn't be more proud of both of them. I think what Claressa Shields has done in the US, when we look back in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, the battles that she's had to come through will go down in absolute history. And Savannah Marshall has done it a different way, and she has become a superstar in her own right in the UK and had to knock down barriers both within herself and outside of herself, and she is now one of the most feared female fighters on the planet. I can't wait. I'm so thankful to even be part of this historic event, and I really believe that Saturday night will change the sport forever.
I will go to the teams shortly, but I want to bring the women in first of all. Claressa, welcome back. We saw you in Cardiff. It was magnetic, really, with the red slippers and the performance, defending your title and getting ready for this moment. We had you back in Newcastle, slightly more hostile maybe, but it happens now in London, in the capital. You've got great memories of this place from the Olympics in 2012, also an Olympic gold medalist in Rio. Where would this sit if you win on Saturday night in all your experiences and successes so far?
Oh, Adam, how cute. When I win on Saturday night. It's going to be, it's going to be a great victory for me. I know that this isn't my first undisputed fight. This isn't my first time having a very, very hard training camp and being the underdog. This isn't my first time. I've done this numerous of times, and I've come out on top every time. It's going to feel good to just kind of quiet all the doubters about, this knockout power and the lack of my skill and the lack of my accomplishments or whatever the case may be, because, I've never seen something like this in boxing before. Not the all-women's card, because that's magnificent, but someone who lives off of an amateur win for 10 years. God. I mean, sometimes I think about it and I'm like, it's like they're trying to erase everything I've done in the past 10 years, because I have been dominant in boxing for a decade, since I was 17. I didn't win the Olympics and then just have a terrible career. It was like, I won the Olympics, I won it again, I turned pro, I won titles, and it's just like, wow, that's still not enough for you guys. Okay. So I'm here to fight against who UK considers the best. I'm here to fight against who UK considers the knockout puncher, right? And I'm here to show you guys that I am a very special talent, that champions are not made, they're born, and that I was born to do this. So that's why I'm here. I'm happy to be here with the naysayers and the doubters and the fans. I love you guys. It's going to be a great show. And you'll all be fans after.
Claressa, when Big Mo introduced Savannah, there was applause. There was respectful applause from you. So there is respect for Savannah Marshall, but there's been a lot of needle. There's been a lot of words. Where are we with that? We've seen the gloves are off. We've seen all the build-up. What do you think of her now?
I'm 2-0 and all of that. 2-0 in the press conference, 2-0 gloves and off. Gonna be 3-0 Saturday. But as far as Savannah Marshall, the thing is that people write out narratives and they just try to paint me out to be the villain because I'm more vocal. But I've ran into Savannah Marshall plenty of times at the Mayweather gym, in London. I've always been cordial. But how can you be cordial with somebody who try to come at you talking about something? They'll knock you out in 2 minutes and 2 rounds, and they'll do this, and you're not better than them. You just got to the belts before them, like trying to discredit me. So that's where it all started. It didn't just start from, oh, she beat me in the amateurs, I just hate her guts. No. If you watch my T-Rex documentary after she won the world championships, which solidified me a spot in the Olympics to get the wild card, I walked up to her and said, thank you. Because if she would have done terrible in that tournament, I wouldn't have made it to the Olympics. So there is no hate for her. There is no hate. Do I dislike the things that she say? Yes. Do I respect her as a fighter? Sure, but don't paint it out like I'm the one who started the whole mess. That's not true. After I beat up Emma Cozen, she's the one ringside talking about something. If you fight that way against May, I'm going to wipe the floor with you. What the heck? I mean, it just caught me so off guard because it was like, I would never say that to somebody after they fought. So I just was like, oh, dang. I thought it'd be like, hey, congrats. You won your fight. You're getting close to a fight with me and you. You crossed the pond to come over here and challenge me. It just was no respect from her. But then everybody wants me to accept that and be like, oh my God, yeah, Savannah, you're right. So that just blew me. So I don't hate Savannah Marshall. This moment is here because of me and her. She's done a great job promoting herself off of me, talking about the win, bringing it up all the time. But I've put in more hard work, and the accomplishments show that because this ain't even all 12 of my belts, but I got 12 titles compared to 1 in over 5 years. So I'm just here to show that, look, I'm the best, and you give respect when respect is given. So if she don't respect me, don't expect me to respect her. That's all.
Savannah, do you respect Claressa Shields? You certainly lit a fuse in Cardiff. This has been 10 years of really waiting for the opportunity to show or try and show that you are the best and that you will become undisputed. Is it all part of a plan, or is it natural that you don't like her and you don't have that much respect for her?
No, of course I have respect for Claressa. I've always had respect for Claressa. What she doesn't like is that I've got an opinion. That is what she doesn't like. I sat and watched the box in Cardiff and I thought it was diabolical. And she didn't like that I told her that. That's what she got upset over.
And you thought that it was a diabolical performance, and that means that you go into this, you believe, as favourite to stop her and inflict the first professional defeat on Claressa Shields and do what you did in the amateurs 10 years ago.
Yeah, I did think it was a diabolical performance. You know, she'd rammed down people's throats, that she was this, that she was that. We were going to see this spectacular knockout. Sat there for 10 rounds, drifted off. And we didn't see nothing.
You didn't even answer the man's question.
What was the second question?
Are you going to knock me out? You said it was a diabolical performance, unanimous decision, but against another undefeated fighter. But are you, Savannah Marshall, going to knock out Claressa Shields?
I've been asked this for the past 12 weeks, and I've never once said I'm going to knock you out. I said I'm going to hurt you, and I will.
Are you going to knock me out? Yes or no?
I'm going to hurt you, and I will.
Yeah, we still don't have an answer.
Well, we'll see when you wake up on the canvas. I'll ask you then. Have I knocked you out? And you can answer it then?
Listen here. I don't know why you think you so big and so strong, but you're not. All this facade, you knocking out these bums. I'm sorry. It's not even fazing me. It's actually comical. And you know what? You would be a fool to come in there and stand there in my face in a boxing ring, and your best bet is to try to box and move. You stand there with me, you gonna be the one sleep.
Oh,
you gonna sleep.
12 lasses
you gonna be sleep because you're not stronger than me. You're not stronger than me. I had a whole different game plan for Emma than you. I'm not worried about you.
Jesus, well, I haven't seen how different in 12
One
fights.
bill.
Tell you what, I'd be impressed if you do something different. I'll tell you that.
Guess what?
Wow.
I put in 11 weeks for this camp just to show you.
Well, I put in 12.
You're not about to get in there and walk through me. You're not about to walk through me. Stop it. You're gonna walk through. I can't wait to after the fight, because all I want you to say is, Claressa, you may have a big mouth, but you back it up every time. That's what I want you to say after the fight. And you know what? You be hating on my chain. You be hating on it, but guess what? I bet you this chain that you don't win the fight.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just take the belts. I'll just have the belts.
You're not going to have the belts.
I don't want no chain. I don't want that.
Put $35,000 of your purse.
Well, I don't know why you're over there, but I'd be taking that right back.
What you just said?
I'd be taking that right back. You've been over spending $35,000.
You want to be the GOAT. You want to have a chain.
Oh, I know. Thank you.
You want to be the GOAT. You want to have a chain. You want to be me. You want to have the belts. You want the Olympic gold medals. You want it, right?
No,
yes, you do. Oh my God, who doesn't want to win the Olympics for their country?
Hey, where your gold medals at? Hey, you want this chain? You want my belts? No, thank you.
It's a valid question.
Huh?
It's a valid question.
Where your gold medals at, huh? You got opinion? Oh, I hate you a hater.
It doesn't matter, because everybody has opinions.
You are?
Everybody has
opinions.
That's
what you don't like. Anyone who's got an opinion against you.
I don't like
you
that.
You don't like.
No, I don't like that.
Because
you are a hater.
You're
and
nothing
that
but a bully.
No.
That's what you are.
I'm a bully.
You're a bully. I'm a bully.
Whoa!
Yeah, you are. That's what you are. You're a
I
bully.
swear, that's the first time I've ever heard that one. I'm confident.
Good, you want to be? You need
You lack confidence. Lots of it, and always have, and always will. And guess
We'll
what?
see
If on
come
Saturday,
we'll see come Saturday when I'm
oh,
stepping over
Saturday,
you.
you better believe every word you're saying, because I'm about to put you through hell.
Good, that's what I'm
I
praying
don't
for.
believe it.
If I don't get the
believe
best
it.
version of
ain't gotta
Claressa,
talk no more
I'll be
because
disappointed. If I get
I
that
ain't gotta
Claressa
talk no
that
more. I
turned
ain't
up in
talking to
Cardiff.
You about to take an L. 12-1 on the way.
Yeah, don't you know?
12-1 on the way.
12-1 on the way. No more G-Wart.
12-1
No
on
more
the way.
G-Wart.
Yeah. Yep.
Savannah, what will it mean to you? You don't want the chain if you win. What will it mean to you to become the undisputed champion on Saturday night after everything you've been through, the ups and downs of the boxing career and journey?
It'll mean everything. It'll mean all the blood, sweat and tears. Everything that I've went through, it'll all be worthwhile.
And you believe it will happen. This is your moment of destiny.
It does happen, Adam. It does happen.
Let's just bring in the teams for a slight respite. Mark Taffett and Dimitri Salita, welcome. Great to have you both with us. Mark, I know that you've had a close relationship as a manager of Claressa, and you've told us for a long, long time what a special woman she is, not just in the boxing ring, but for the whole of America. You must be very proud that she's come over to London on such a defining night for sport here.
Back in April of 1991, when Bob Arum and I worked on Vander Holyfield versus George Foreman, believe me, this is not something we thought we would see during our careers. And it is an honor, it is a privilege, it's a humbling, very emotional moment, and it's because these women have worked so hard. Claressa Shields carries the entire sport of women's boxing on her broad shoulders, and I've always said that. She cares more about women's sports and women's boxing succeeding than she does about her own succeeding. People have said, is this the biggest fight of her life? If you know anything about Claressa Shields, what you will know is life has been the biggest fight of Claressa Shields' life. Boxing is what she does, but life has been her biggest challenge. She has come up aces. She has not just survived, but she has thrived. She's a special, transcendental woman. She's a figure like Billie Jean King, like Muhammad Ali, that people will look back on someday and say, that woman changed everything for many of us. I'm so proud to be with her, and I know what she's going to do Saturday night because I watched Floyd Mayweather, I watched Roy Jones, and I put Claressa Shields right there in my top 3, skill-wise. She's an amazing, incredible person who happens to put boxing gloves on. And come Saturday night, the world's going to see that. So I love her. I wish her the best. My 12-year-old grandson said to me last night, Grandpa, is it going to be better than Taylor Serrano and Michaela against Hamadouche? When a 12-year-old boy says that in the United States, you know we're on our way to something great. So I wish everybody the best Saturday night, and we're here for something special.
Yeah, lovely words, Mark. Echo all of that. And Dimitri, again, as Claressa's promoter, welcome back. Obviously, we've got a long history together, and it's fantastic to have you as part of Team Shields. And again, you know the magnitude of these sort of moments, don't you, in boxing?
This is a great event, and I'm very grateful to Sky and to Boxer to be able to bring us all together. The GOAT of promoters, Mr. Bob Arum, is participating in this card. Marshall Kaufman, Matchroom, so many great promoters coming together, and what a great example you guys set for people working together to make the biggest and the best fights. And it's quite ironic that the women are on top of this and are driving the boat to make this happen. So this is going to be a fantastic event. I'm very grateful and honored to be here. I just want to say a couple of things about what Savannah said and Claressa said. Claressa has made history every one of her fights. Her 4th professional fight, she fought for the world title. Then she fought the #1 contender. She's fought Hannah Gabriel. She's fought Christina Hammer. She's fought some of the biggest and the best fights leading up to this. Savannah Marshall has fought opponents. So she's looked good against girls that are opponents. So there's levels to fighting fighters that come to win and fighting opponents. And when Savannah gets into the ring with Claressa Shields, she's going to experience things that she's never experienced before, from a boxing point of view. So people can say here whatever they want to say, but when you get into the ring, once the footwork starts and the jab starts and the punches starts and the defense and the offense, she's going to be in a situation where she's never been before. And I saw the documentary that you guys did leading up to the fight. This is nothing like singing Colors of the Rainbow. Claressa Shields is a whole different story. She's come with all the smoke, as they say, in the United States. And it's going to be a great night of boxing, and Claressa's hand is going to be raised.
Talk about it.
Thanks, Dimitri. Peter Fury, one of our great trainers and the man that has done so much for Savannah Marshall over the last few years. They're coming with all the smoke. They believe they've been with elite fighters and Savannah's been in with opponents. What's your reaction to that? And how does your fine lady win on Saturday night?
Smoke don't win fights. That's number one. Listen, I've listened to a lot of crap in this build-up. I've listened to some positive stuff. And look, it doesn't mean people's vying for an edge. I tell you what, the way everybody's speaking here now, we should all, me and Savannah, get our suitcase and run home. And not turn up Saturday. It's all shit to me, this. I think what we've got to look at is the realistic. You know, Savannah fought opponents. Savannah's fought 1, 2 people. Claressa's fought, dispatched them. You know, so we'll fight anybody. Savannah will fight anybody. That's why Claressa's here. But look, I'm a little bit different. I'm going to give Claressa all the credit in the world. Like I said, double Olympian, come over here to London to prove she's the best. This is what real world champions do. So I will never criticise a fighter because obviously I ain't in there fighting myself. I'm a trainer. But basically, she needs all the respect, all the accolades. Will Savannah lose confidence? Is Savannah the best fighter she's ever been in the ring with? Yes, she is. Is that going to be the case Saturday? Yes, that's going to be the case. So, on talent-wise, we'll see who the best is. This is why we're here. We ain't got a crystal ball. This is a 50-50 fight. I've always said it is. But look, I'm silently confident in Savannah's ability. You know, she's a powerhouse, natural powerhouse. There's a difference. She's not a stiff thing looking to land a big shot where she's going to get outboxed, slip and slided, countered. You know, you're dreaming if you think that's going to happen here. At the end of the day, we've prepared for a toe-to-toe slugfest, a run-around-the-ring boxing match, whatever it is, because I work on the downsides. And the good thing is, with Savannah being such a high-level athlete, she's been able to adapt to all these different scenarios. Like I always say, you've got one ire in the fire, which is a domestic shit fighter. Yeah? Let's look at it on a world level. And then you've got fighters with 12 irons in the fire who can change up, change the tactics on the spur of the minute, adapt. And when them 12 irons run out, what does it come to? It comes down to heart, guts, and having a fight. And that's what Savannah has done in a camp. She's sparred with a lot of middleweights and world-level middleweights as well, in males, I'll say that. And at the end of the day, there's been blood, snot, you know, she's been hurt in them spars, carried on, done another 5, 6, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, you know, coming to the corner, wiping the blood off her face. You know, this is a serious job. She took this deadly serious, which also is respect to Claressa Shields, because no way she underestimated. No way am I going to put this girl down. She's a fabulous fighter. And I want to finish off and say what a great event for women's boxing this is. You know, it's magnificent. And without the right dance partner between these two, we wouldn't be here today. It's a terrific undercard, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. And thanks to Boxer, thanks to Sky Sports, Mick Hennessy of Hennessy Sports. You know, without these in the background, none of this would be possible. And thanks to Salita, his team, Mark Taffett, you know, respect to everybody. But you know what? Let's get Saturday and let's have a fight. That's what I'm interested in. And may the best woman win.
Peter, I want to jump in here real quick. And all the respect to you. You're a tremendous boxing guy, one of the best in the world, and you've done a tremendous job with Savannah. Is Savannah the best fighter Claressa fought? Maybe. But if she is, maybe just a little level above Christina Hammer and above Hannah Gabriels. But over
Dimitri,
there,
I'm sorry, that's absolute rubbish.
Hold on a second. Be quiet.
It's absolute
Just be
rubbish.
quiet. Just let me finish. However, no, listen. But for Savannah, it's 7 levels. Savannah's never fought anybody close to Clarissa's level, so it's going to be many different levels. Maybe Savannah is the best fighter that Clarissa's fought, but it's close to the elite fighters. She's dealt with difficulties. Savannah has never dealt with difficulties. She's very dominant, and she's looked very good with your help. With your training, she got significantly better, and I believe that you know boxing as good as anybody. And there's levels to this, as they say. So Claressa is a different planet. And for Savannah, maybe she's the best.
I will say this.
With all due respect.
Yeah, with all the respect to you as well. I've seen, I've been around the world in boxing, yeah, and I've had people say, your fight is crap. Even the commentary said to me once, yeah, not mentioning no names here, big fight. Yeah, give him 3 or 4 rounds, his gas will run out, he'll get knocked out. I said, you lot are pissed. Yeah. I said, he'll take your fighter to school, right? Hence, that's history, become a world champion. I've heard all this before. I've heard it many times. It's up to me to guide my fighter. And when I come to listen to what opposition says, when Savannah comes to listen to what opposition says, pack it up and leave, because never let anybody tell you or put you down. You are what you are. Everybody's got a pair of arms and a pair of legs. Let's see on Saturday night.
That's just Saturday night.
Yeah, Dimitri, acting like I'm trying to sit in the middle, but acting like this is any sort of formality is absolutely ridiculous. There's a reason Savannah stopped girls that Claressa hasn't. There's a reason Savannah's in this position. There's a reason why this fight is in London. There's a reason why she's knocked out power. She's shown knockout power that we've never seen in the sport before. And there's a reason why this fight is so big, because clearly a lot of people do believe Savannah is going to win this fight.
I agree with you. This is a great, true rivalry, the first one for women's boxing, and it's tremendous that you've been able to put it together and that we work together to make this happen, for sure. However, objectively, if you talk about the athletic skills, Savannah is a very good fighter, and I have a lot of respect for her and what she's accomplished. And again, Peter Fury has added so much to her team. However, there's levels to this, as they say.
It's either you've beaten the best or you haven't. That's what it is, Ben.
Yeah, the problem is, Ben, from a boxing's point of view, is that when you fight opponents, they come to win, maybe, but after a little bit of trouble, they want to survive. Claressa has fought girls from the beginning of her career that are coming there to win, that felt that they're the best, and that's the difference. And when Savannah is going to deal with that type of adversary, we don't know how she's going to react.
Opponents that get in the ring with Savannah, when they're hit for the first time, they do try and survive, because it's like something they've never experienced before.
3 weeks notice.
Their opponents, Ben. It's a big
3 days
difference.
notice.
Why is she stopping girls that Claressa's taken 10 rounds?
Because she fought them 4 years after. Stop it.
10 rounds.
4 years after. Stop it.
How many of you stopped Claressa? And I respect you greater than anyone.
I fought against world champs, and guess what? If you would have given me the opponent that's 11-75, 3-25, you want me to go to BoxRec and read off her opponent's records? I would knock them out too. But when you're going against champions who are 21-0, 18 knockouts, girls who are former world champions, 16-0, 9 knockouts, which I did knock that one out. But when you're going against those kind of opponents early in your career, your 4th fight, your 5th fight, your 6th fight, I was just getting warmed up. So don't talk like I ain't no big puncher, because I am. And you're going to find that out Saturday, because clearly you don't respect you don't respect me either, because of how you was talking shit after I beat up Emma Cozen. So therefore, you can keep thinking all this, talk about this, Savannah Marshall, knock out this, knock out that, but anybody can knock out tomato cans and bums. You can't knock out world champs.
I'll tell you
That's
what.
hard to do in women's boxing.
I'll tell you what I will say.
With the 2 minutes.
I would like to just add this. I think everybody in the division that both of them fought are crap. Yeah? And that's why both of them's here, because these are the only 2 best. These are the only 2 diamonds in a sack of shit. So basically, that's where we are. So let's not sit and say, we fought this, we fought that, because they're all no good. Yeah? This is why we're here. These are 2 elite fighters. Let's get it on and see who the best is in this division.
Absolutely
because
not.
There's nobody else in it.
That's not agreed. No. Because when you went to 168, and then you went to 160, and then you went to 154, within those 3 weight classes, there were some hell of a great women fighters. So I'm not just going to put Savannah Marshall on the top and just say, oh, she was better than all them by extremely. Savannah Marshall was good. Savannah Marshall is a bigger girl, but We're not finna sit here and say that the girls at 154, the girls at 160, and the girls
Can
at
we mute
168 was
now,
trash. That's not.
Turn
That's
the
not
mic
true.
off.
Is she the
That's
best?
not
Is
true.
she the best opponent you've ever faced?
No, she's not.
She's not.
No, she's not.
Who is?
Christina Hammer is the best opponent that I fought.
Come Saturday, Savannah Marshall will be.
Okay, you're gonna see. You're gonna be a second edition of Christina Hammer.
Oh,
Well, no.
I hope you're not relying on that. I
Whatever
box
you
nothing
just
like
said,
Christina
okay.
Hammer.
Whatever you just said, okay. You won. You won to talk today. Good job.
Guys, let's throw it to the floor. A couple of questions from the floor for the ladies, please. Anyone there?
Hi, I'm Rob Harding from the Undisputed. There will be an undisputed champion come Saturday night. Claressa, you have constantly referred to Savannah not having the power to actually defeat you. Now, Savannah has got the higher knockout ratio between the two of you. I'm not going to dwell on that, but what I would like to ask you is you've said in a previous press conference that speed is power, and you've emphasized the speed that you have and obviously the technical ability and the class that you have. How have you approached and worked through your training camp? Has it been to focus primarily on speed or actually to match Savannah's knockout power?
We actually work to do both. You know, I'm not ever going to abandon my abilities, which is my hand speed, my offense, my defense, and my IQ. But also, too, we have worked up in every fight to always enhance my power. And the thing is that I don't think that I lack power. I think that when it comes to calming down and placing shots, that it's an art, you know, and it's an art that I just don't be seeing in fights. I hurt all the girls that I fight, and I mark them up or whatever, and I've even dropped some. But it's just like when it comes to, you know, winning unanimous decisions, and once you in the ring for 7 rounds and you box the girl head off, it's kind of hard to switch the mindset to, okay, now knock her out. But we've been working in camp to have that mindset throughout rounds 1 and 10. You know, rounds 1 through 10 to keep the mindset of looking for the shots that hurt and being able to recognize when to go for the kill and just how to calm down. And that's what we've been working on for 11 weeks. And we worked on it before the Emma Cozen fight too. But this fight is just like stuff that was supposed to click on last camp finally makes sense this camp. So it just takes like a little bit of hard work and a little bit of extra doing. But we put in over 100 rounds of sparring for this camp. So we shall see what happens when we go in there.
Going to be your power?
My speed is never going to leave. I'm not ever going to abandon that. I'm going to be fast, powerful, smart, defensively responsible, offensively responsible. And I'm going to adapt to whatever I have to adapt to. But I will come out victorious in this fight, whether it's a knockout or whether I school another girl 10 rounds. It doesn't matter to me.
And I want to add to that. Savannah is a big puncher. She's a very good puncher for women's boxing. Mm-hmm. But we've never seen what happens when she gets hit, because she hasn't fought anybody that was willing to engage with her. So that's going to be a big question. And for Savannah to be able to answer those questions from not being able to deal with that type of adversary, as Claressa has had with Hannah Gabriels, with Christina Hammer, and with others, that's the big question. And that's why the fight is going to be so interesting, and that's why I feel that Claressa is so superior. And I want to give a big gratitude and shout out to John David Jackson and Gerald Tucker, who have prepared Claressa fantastically for this fight.
Agreed.
Gareth?
Gareth A. Davis, Daily Telegraph, TalkSport. Can I ask the promoters, first of all, is there a rematch clause in this fight?
There is, but I think both fighters expect everything will be dealt with on September the 10th. Clarissa's got MMA obligations that she needs to look after. Savannah wants to become undisputed at 2 different weight divisions. So there is, but let's see what happens. It would have to be a close fight.
Yeah, so if you've got a controversial decision, but there is an option open to you both, would you both take the fight afterwards if you felt like you won the wrong end of a controversial decision?
Are you asking me that?
I'm asking you, madam, yes.
Oh, what did you ask? You said
But
what?
but if you lost the fight, if and when you lost the fight on Saturday night, but you
she's
felt
not
you
gonna
won it
answer that
clearly on
question that
points,
way.
and it was controversial, would you take a second fight?
Oh, you say is it a rematch clause?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you saying would I take a rematch? Why would you take a fight with somebody once and then not take it with them twice? It doesn't really matter. It's still a fight. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's on both our ends. So when I win, you know, if she wants a rematch, when I have a rematch, it doesn't matter.
Gareth, let me just say this. You can have every clause you want in every contract you want.
It don't matter.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If the public wants to see these two women fight again after Saturday night, that is the reason it would happen. That's why they're all in it. So the public will tell us whether or not there's a rematch.
And this shows what women's boxing has grown to, that there is interest in a rematch in this significant and fantastic fight.
Radio Raheem, for a fighter to get to this level, each fighter has had a moment in the ring where they've had to call on something to overcome adversity, be it from another fighter or inside themselves. I'm just curious, from each fighter, when that moment comes, when you really have to dig deep and bite down, what do you call on? What is your inspiration to win the fight and be better than you've ever been?
I don't think about it, I just do it. It's just instinct kicks in. And that's when I start going in the trenches and digging deep.
For me, thinking about my fights, I just have a no quit attitude. That's it. You know, I think that putting in the hard work and just the training, I don't. As much as everybody would love to go in there and just have like a unanimous decision and beat girls up and not have it be competitive, I never think that the fight's going to go that way. I always think that girls come 110% prepared to get the upset over me, and I mean, you just kind of take it with what you can, because I've been cut in fights, I've been headbutted in fights, I've been dropped in fights, and still been able to come out on top. So I just remember, like, when I got dropped, I looked at the ground on both sides, and I said, what the hell are we doing down here? And then I got up, I took a deep breath, and I said, I'm ready to rumble. I'm ready to do this. And I just put my chin down, I bit on my mouth guard, and I went to work. And that's just how I am really just throughout my whole life. You know, if something is hard or something is difficult, I just kind of bite down and just keep pushing through.
One more? Thank you.
Rack Noble from Boxing UK. Savannah, if you are successful over Claressa on Saturday, will you take on her moniker nickname as you have defeated the greatest female?
No, I will not. I'll put that out there. I don't want no one sending me jewellery, no one sending me clothes with that spread it all over. No, I don't want nothing to do with that.
And Claressa, for you, if you are successful over Savannah on Saturday, where will she rank amongst the greatest fighters that you have fought so far in the ring?
We have to see after Saturday. We have to see where she would rank. You know, I think with her having a great amateur pedigree and her being in the amateurs as long as she was, she kind of trumps a few of the girls that I fought already. But it's some world champions who I've been in there with who were extremely strong, extremely skilled, with plenty of knockouts and just great athletic ability. And I don't know where hers stand compared to them. But we will see after Saturday.
Claressa, finally, last message to Savannah. What happens Saturday night at the O2?
I'll see you Saturday, and just keep my belt warm for me.
Savannah?
I'll see you Saturday. Clock's ticking, 2 more days till I become undisputed middleweight champion of the world.
It's all set, Ben. I'll leave you with the last word.
Yeah, I think finally, thank you to Claressa Shields for coming over here. She really is an icon in women's boxing. But anyone that says they can predict this fight is wrong. It's a complete 50-50. No one can predict it. No one knows when it's going to end. And that's what makes this so special. Thank you to everyone. This will be broadcast in over 100 countries on Saturday night. There's only £25 tickets left. We're going to have a full arena at the O2. And what a special night with an all-women's card. Thank you.
Thanks very much, guys. A super stage on Saturday night, and Claressa and Savannah will pose down here for the head-to-head and interviews afterwards. We wish both of them the very best. Thank you for making it happen.
Well, I don't know about you lot at home watching, but we very much enjoyed that. I'm sure you did. I think, Matt and Johnny, that there should have been some little bags of popcorn laid out on the seats in here. It was you couldn't want to miss. You didn't want to miss that.
Certainly knew how to grab everybody's attention.
Yeah.
I think everybody had something to say up there. Even the promoter Ben Shalom, even though he was one that's got to show that he's supposed to be impartial, he had to defend Claressa, because Clarissa's happy. Savannah's happy to just sit back and let everybody else do the talking, and I kind of like that. Even though sometimes you think, oh, you could have hit back there, but she feels she doesn't have to. When the bell goes, that's her job.
I think she did, Johnny. Or don't you, Matt? I think Savannah gave as good as she got today. She was giving out the impressions just as much as Claressa was.
Yeah, she didn't get drawn in, did she? She gave her bit and then sat back.
Yeah, she wasn't as vocal, but she picked her punches.
Which is exactly what you want to do. Out of interest, who did win the battle of the impressions?
I don't know. It was pretty evenly matched. I thought. Look, Clarissa's more outspoken. Savannah's more quiet. She's got better. She's got more confident over the last year, 18 months. But personalities, they're different, aren't they?
Yeah, and you've got to remember, every time these two become face to face or in the same room, when it comes to talking, you've got to lean towards Claressa, because she has the character. She has that something that makes her stand out, that makes people talk about her, that makes people want to see her win or lose. So she's that fight. She's that character out of these two. But she's got to back it up. When the bell goes, she's got to back it up. And so far, she's backed it up as a professional, which is why she's holding 5 belts, because she can back up the bow so far.
Is there a danger? I mean, with the level of back and forth between these two, the rivalry that goes back many, many years, 10 years in the making, this fight, that the emotions could get the better of them on Saturday?
I don't think so. I think regardless of any needle or bad blood, you can see there's a lot of respect there. So I think both of them will be completely focused. They've got good training teams with them, and they'll be focused on the tactics, the game plan, and staying cool in the fire. It's got to be calm in the madness, and both of them are consummate professionals, very experienced, long in the tooth now. I don't think either of them will get distracted.
It's a really interesting partnership between Savannah and Peter Fury. It's a relationship that they don't really say a lot, do they, the two of them? But they have that understanding, and it's something that really works, doesn't it?
Well, listen to Peter. You can tell he's a no-nonsense kind of guy, and that is clearly rubbed off onto Savannah as well. She's a no-nonsense kind of fighter now. She doesn't need to say things that just don't need to be said. Things that can be said in a sentence. She's not going to take a paragraph, take a whole page to do it. She just gets on with it. She's not influenced by what you, I, or the public say. She's influenced by what she's capable of doing. So in doing that, she is she's morphing into Peter.
This is a very intense face-off, Matt. I mean, neither fighter wants to budge there.
No, it's brilliant though, isn't it? You look at the turnout here, look at the excitement, everyone chatting. We don't know who's going to win. It's opinions are divided. These what the best and the biggest fights are all about.
Even better.
You go Ben Shalom, a little up and down look there.
So looking forward to this fight, because you just don't know how it's going to pan out. You just don't know how emotions are going to get the better or worse of the other, and there's so much attitude up there. As I say, the fighting will tell the story.
What do you think is going to happen though when that first bell goes?
I think a lot of nervous energy is going to be involved to start off with. Which fighter is going to get into the rhythm? Claressa, I believe that she will try and railroad her. She'll try and use speed. She'll try and physically bully her, emotionally intimidate her. Savannah's got to keep her cool, not get dragged into her kind of fight. Claressa was saying, I dare you to stand there toe-to-toe with me, because that's the best chance she has in this fight, for it to suit her. And so Savannah's just got to stick to her plan. Peter Fury was right. They are both good, very talented fighters. And if Savannah sticks to what she can do, which is box, then that's how you got to lean with.
We're going to come back to that in just a second, Johnny, but just looking at this shot here, it is going to be a historic night on Saturday. The build-up is historic too. It is a momentous evening. And as I said at the top, it's not just for women's boxing, it's for the sport in general, Matt.
Oh,
what a brilliant picture.
Great picture. It is groundbreaking. It is going to be an historic night. And I think the fights are going to live up to that billing as well. I don't think we're going to be disappointed. I think it's going to be... there's some great matches up there, very evenly matched. People are struggling to pick winners, and I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed. I think it's going to be an unbelievable event, and we're going to see some great fights.
It's an array of talent, though, isn't it, Johnny? A plethora of talent on display there, because you've got the Olympians right through to the likes of Claressa, Savannah, Michaela, Alicia. It's all covered on Saturday night.
And you've got the present and you've got the future.
Exactly.
Success breeds success. This picture here may be a picture they'll use in years to come to say this was it. This was that launch pad where it's got to the stage where the best fought the best. There was no dodging. It was a great line from Al when he said, Terence Crawford and I'm going to be 90 years old before that fight comes on. These fighters are actually saying, no, I want to fight you now. These fights are actually happening. I might through lack of choice, but at least they're proving something to say, I ain't got nothing to dodge, I've got nothing to avoid. It's called show business. Unfortunately, the business side always ruins the show. But right now, these marry on well together. The best will fight the best. They don't care.
What an opportunity for them all as well. On a big stage, and there are going to be so many eyeballs on Saturday night there.
Yeah, massive. Look, the two main event fights, Claressa and Savannah, and of course Michaela and Alicia. Those are that's the pinnacle. But you've got girls like Lauren and Caris and Caroline Dubois. They're the up and coming. They're the next generation. They're the ones coming through, and they'll be watching the main two fights, thinking, we can't wait for that to be us.
So looking on that lineup there, who would you say were the future stars of tomorrow? Who's the future headliners? You look at people like Caroline Dubois, outstanding. Lauren, outstanding. You've just got these young ones.
And
Shannon,
so young,
Shannon
just
Ryan.
20 years old.
Shannon Ryan, outstanding. Any of these out here could be top billing this time next year, or the year after, or the year after that. You've got so much potential talent, successful talent.
Well, Lauren and Caris, as we heard there in the press conference, both said that they were never going to fight on the same card. You can only imagine the emotions, the feelings, the nerves, the excitement that's around them this week.
All of those, all of the above. He just said they're a mixture of nerves, excitement, worry, but they've just got to be quite selfish as well and just focus on their own game plan, make sure their weight's good and they're in, mentally focused, which must be really difficult, I would imagine.
But also a really special moment for those two on Saturday night to be part of history together.
And get to share it, quite envious really. It's I don't think there's too many people in boxing that can say they've shared that experience.
Well, we're hoping that Claressa, Savannah will be joining us on stage here. Just picking up on something that Peter Fury said about the hard sparring that Savannah's been having, and he was openly saying that, it's been grueling sparring, she's been hurt. She's pretty much been sparring men. I've got to ask this question, I'll ask you both. When you're in that situation, if it's Savannah sparring a man, does the man hold back, or would he give as good as he gets if he was sparring another man?
Well, a trainer worth his salt will know who to put in with who. Mm-hmm. So say for instance, Savannah's in there. There'd be a fighter that's lighter, that's not got as much weight behind the punch. You get them in and get on with the job because you want them to be. Everybody's on a level. That's how sparring is. You wouldn't put Savannah in and make you have a heavy spar with something like Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury has the common sense and the decency to study it and not take advantage like you do with any male or female fighter. You just wouldn't do it. It's gym etiquette. So it doesn't matter if you're male or female. Gym etiquette is you get the job done, you bring the best out of whoever is in front of you, and if you can't handle it, you get out of there. So I'm quite sure Peter's done exactly that. Gym etiquette, it doesn't change male or female.
How much do you think Peter is behind Savannah's confidence and that kind of mentality?
I think he's played a big part in it. I think he's really instilled in her self-belief, because that was the only thing really lacking. She had all the ability, but you could just see something wasn't quite clicking for her, and I think it was just a lack of self-belief. But you know, when someone that you believe in believes in you, that helps you to believe in yourself, and I think that was what's really happened with them too.
And that's something that's grown over time between the two. Like you say, you've been around Savannah a long time, and Peter Fury, I remember Savannah saying not too long ago that everything that Peter Fury has predicted in terms of what he said from the start, this is where you'll be at this certain point, and she thought, you know, when he said that, going, yeah, right, is that really going to happen? It's all come to fruition at that right time.
The problem with fighters is they stop listening, and they all of a sudden think they can do it themselves. And so you'll have a coach that brings the best out in you. Prince Asim Hamid wouldn't have been Prince Asim Hamid without Brendan Ingle. David Beckham wouldn't have been David Beckham without Sir Alex Ferguson. So you've got your coach that knows and can bring the best out of you. When you start thinking you are the coach, the games master, you know, you can do all yourself, that's where the problems start. The respect is there between Savannah and Peter because she trusts him. You can tell how they talk. You can tell how she operates, how she speaks about him, how he speaks out there. It's about trust, respect. Everybody knows their role. I fight, you train. And as long as you stay there, that's when you bring the best out.
And those things will have been earned, won't they, over time?
Because when you've been in a hard fight and you come back to your corner and you're tired, you've been hurt, things aren't going your way, you want that minute to be filled with a voice that you trust, that you believe in, that you respect, that you listen to. That you know gets you. If he says jump, you don't say how high, you just jump. And so once that's earned, and which I see between Savannah and Peter, it can never be broken. It's ultimate respect, and that's why I kind of you sense that between the two of them. She's changed. She's changed from being a intimidated young girl into a woman that knows what she can do, and you see that in her.
And also that will be helped by the momentum, the results in the ring, also feedback, coverage, everything like that. It all comes into play.
Yeah, well, look, respect and trust and confidence in your your coach, that's something that's earned over time. When they say, do this, trust me, and you do it and it works. Okay, so now we build it, that trust gains momentum in turn. So over the time they've had together, her results have gone from strength to strength, and her trust and her belief in Peter and in herself and in their relationship has grown from strength to strength.
Whereas someone like Claressa seems to have been born with that confidence. She oozes it, doesn't she? It just seems to be there. That's part of who she is.
Well, you know, it's about being the ultimate showman and salesman as well, and she's that. She can fight, she's a winner, she can sell it, she can back up the boast. So as long as she's backing up the boast, you're gonna be along, you're gonna ride that wave, love her all over. But she's backing up the boast. She doesn't mind playing the villain because she's getting her job done. The people around her, the people that know her, they trust her, they get on with it. She don't care what we think of her. She's just getting her job done. It's not. There's no point in just being a good fighter, because Savannah's a good fighter. But Claressa is more well known than Savannah is. Why? Because Claressa puts herself out there. She's shouting in your face and I'm going to do X, Y, Z. That's why we talk about Claressa more.
She's a bit like Marmite, isn't she, with Claressa? You love her or you don't like her, but that's I guess part of the draw to her as well, isn't it?
Well, either way, you're talking about
yeah,
her.
exactly. Yeah.
So and look, she's a great self promoter. She came into a sport where women's boxing wasn't at the forefront, but now look where we are, and she's played a massive part. Katie Taylor as well, you know, in making this happen.
Let's talk about. Should Savannah Marshall, should she win, where do you think that would place her in terms of rankings, legacy, up there with Katie Taylor, Serrano? Where would it put her?
Well, Claressa's the one that calls herself the GOAT. We've not said it. That's what she said. You say it often enough and keep saying it, and then people start to say it. Do you actually believe that she's the best woman fighter of all time? I don't. I think she's one of the best outstanding fighters, but I don't believe it. Does that put Savannah in that position? Savannah said, I won that title. That's not me. I stay in my lane. I know I'm a good fighter. I know I'm one of the best. But you know what? in my opinion, the GOAT would be someone like Katie Taylor. Because Katie Taylor has been in some tough fights and in proper, no-nonsense kind of fights against proper, talented competition come through, and she's had everybody on the edge of the seat. That's the GOAT.
But would victory over Claressa Shields put Savannah up there?
Well, it puts her in that conversation, doesn't it? It definitely puts her in that conversation. Like Johnny said there, I think there's more strength and depth in the weights that Katie Taylor's dominated in, and she's set record after record, and even from her amateur days. So, you know, but look, if Claressa Shields is obviously up there too. So I think if Savannah was to beat Claressa on Saturday night, she definitely puts herself in that conversation.
For someone like Claressa, though, defeat is just unthinkable for someone like Claressa.
She doesn't even want to consider it.
No.
She doesn't want to consider it because it's not in her mindset, and that's why I think defeat would affect her more than it would Savannah.
How do you think she would deal with it?
Would she do a Deontay Wilder and blame everything on everybody else? That could be a big part in it, and that unfortunately is a bad character flaw, because that means you're not going to fix what you're doing wrong yourself. You think it's everybody else's fault. I hope that's not her, but we won't know until or if it happens.
What do you think, Matt?
I don't know. I think she'll take it pretty badly. It depends on the manner, doesn't it, as well? Is it a controversial decision? Does she get stopped?
Well, Ben wasn't giving too much away, was he, in the old rematch clause? We weren't getting too much information there.
No, but I think what like Mark Taffett said, ultimately, if people want to see the fight again, then the demand will call for it to happen.
It's a fascinating fight, and it really is a true 50-50, isn't it, Johnny?
Without a doubt, it's 50-50 without a doubt. No matter what our personal opinions are, this is a very even fight. No matter what the fighters say, this is a very even fight. I think the person that was more real up there was Peter Fury. He said that he gave credit to Claressa. He gave credit to Savannah. He said this is a 50-50 fight.
Well, I think he started off by saying from what they'd said up there, they might as well pack the bags and go home.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of, you're going on the talking.
He was the most realistic one up there, and I think Savannah knows that as well. That respect will be there as well. But yeah, definitely 50-50.
And the atmosphere on Saturday night. I mean, I'm interested. It would be interesting to see who's going to be there, because it might be a slightly different audience to what we're used to. But it'll be a superb atmosphere, an electric atmosphere we're expecting. For Claressa Shields, she's kind of going into the lion's den. But for someone like her, she feeds off being that. She likes being hated, I think, doesn't she? She likes being disliked.
Yeah, I think she likes to back herself into a corner, knowing that she has to come out all guns blazing, me against the world type of attitude. But I think the crowd in there on Saturday night will be quite similar that we always say. I think it'll be a knowledgeable boxing crowd that are there to watch two great fighters. Doesn't matter that they're men or women. It's just two great fighters, and also the undercard.
And you've got to also look at the press that were here today. You've got to look at when the introduction of women's boxing came into play, and the attitudes of people had to change. Even the likes of Bob Arum, you know, he's been very vocal in regards to how he thought. The likes of many other promoters that really weren't that interested. Now they've had to move with the times and say, you know what, you've got to give respect where respect's due, because it's just how time is. It's time evolving and people's attitudes evolving.
Well, I think Bob said it, didn't he, at the top of the press conference when he said September the 10th on Saturday night could be a defining night. It could be a night that in years to come we look back on and say this is when it all changed.
I'd say it almost certainly will be. You know, if you go back to the London Olympics 10 years and you look where women's boxing has come since then, you know, where are we going to be in another 10? You know, this is just probably going to be the first of many.
Savannah Marshall has come to join us. Savannah, you're looking very relaxed. Johnny said it looked like you didn't want to get drawn into too much up there, but you certainly gave it as good as you got.
I told her she's a bully. Nothing but a bully. But God, doesn't she go on and on? I was sat there thinking, Jesus, we're going to be here till about 4.
I missed that completely. I can't hear you in my ear. I think I heard a bully. Did it go as you expected?
She'd been saying the same things for the past 18 months especially, so I knew what she was going to come out with. I knew what she was going to say. Medals were going to come up, belts, opponents, and do you know, I know her like the back of my hand.
Has it got to the point where you're over it? You don't want to hear any more talking, you just want to get in the ring and do the business?
I don't think anyone wants to read her anymore. She just squeals like a little pig. Do you know what I mean? I think people are sick of hearing about
Do you
it.
think she's trying to draw you into her type of fight by trying to rattle you, get under your skin, to make you fight her kind of fight?
Maybe it's just the way she is.
Do you think she's trying to psychologically get in your head and intimidate you at the last little bit now?
Maybe, but like I said, she's been saying the same things for the past 18 months. She should have come up with some new material. I might have been a bit taken back, but she never.
Well, one quick question about the history between the two of you, the 10 years in the making that this has been, and you are the only loss on her record as a professional amateur. Claressa completely dismisses it, that it didn't bother her. There's no worry there, forgotten a long time ago. Do you think it does bother her? Do you think that is something that she wants to right that wrong?
I think it does, yeah. I think she's massively underestimating me, and that can only go against her. She puts me down at every given opportunity, but I was good enough to beat her 10 years ago, and I'm 10 times the fighter I was then.
10 times the fighter, and we've just been talking about it, Peter Fury, just how much Savannah has grown in confidence over the time that she's been with you.
Do you know what? I'm very happy with that press conference, because the comparisons to things that they said is like going to the moon and back in difference. You know, they're comparing her like to other fighters and saying, you know, you're not on this level, you're not on that level. And I'm happy to hear things like that, because it just tells me that they're, I won't say underestimating, I think they've just got a total wrong idea of Savannah. I really do.
Do you think Claressa is rattled?
I think deep down she knows she's in for probably the hardest fight of her career, yeah, definitely. And she mentions as well about the amateur stuff all the time. You know, amateur and pro boxing is different sports. She alludes to that amateur stuff all the time. And yet, the amateur fight, a petty little amateur fight, she keeps on about it.
Peter, I did notice when she kept talking about that amateur loss, she was trying to say that Savannah was the one that always mentioned it. I don't think you've actually mentioned it once. She's the one that always brings it up.
Exactly. It is Johnny. So what I'm saying is, it's like there's a chip on the shoulder there. It's like everything's a problem. You know, I can't look at defeat. I can't accept it. When you're like that and it starts going wrong in them rounds and you can't accept it, where's your plan A, B, C and D then? If you can't accept it. If you ain't thought about it, if you refuse to think of the issues, I refuse to think of loss, I refuse to think she's going to do any good with me, I refuse this, I refuse that, where's your plan B then? What happens if it starts going wrong? What are you going to do?
So what is going to happen? What is going to happen on Saturday night?
If Savannah sticks to her game plans, we've got a natural athlete, we've got somebody a lot stronger, bodily stronger, all the physical attributes. We train for in close, if Shields gets on her chest, and if she tries to pick shots, slip and slide her and catch you with quick counters. So Savannah's been prepared for everything. This is a different Savannah going into this fight. She's at top of speed, she's at top of the speed of her footwork, and also there's a lot of light shots coming with bombs at the back of them. So that's what it takes to catch this Claressa Shields.
Do you feel like a different Savannah going into this fight? What do you feel different?
100%. The condition I'm in, the camp I've done, it's been longer, it's been more intense, it's been brutal, and you know, just for the fact that I'm stood here alive, you know, just shows like how different I am.
Well, you mentioned, Peter, about some of the sparring that has been, well, you both said brutal and really tough. Can you tell us a bit about that?
It has been brutal, you know, like Benjamin Casey, Gibson brothers, you know, she's been in with them, and you know, don't get me wrong, they're not trying to kill her, but they're hitting her very hard. You know, there's blood coming out, there's all sorts happening, you know. She's took tremendous body shots, she's come back to the corner, she went, can this be the last round? I said, no, you got another 4 or 5. I said, get to enjoy this pain, because you want to win it, don't you? You want to win this unified title, go to places you haven't been before. I said, step it up, even to the sparrers, step it up again, step it up again. So this is where she's had to come back, fight the tears back, wipe the blood from her face, get on with it. Because look, that's what we got to do. Go through pain for the ultimate glory. This will change her life. I sent her to hell and back because I know what's involved. It ain't just a pep talking show here. She has to win it by action, not by words, and that's what we've done.
Peter's on the wrong show. He should be on that SAS Who Dares Wins. That's how they talk.
Yeah, well, I've been watching it. I've took some pointers.
I bet there's been some colourful language from Savannah as well when she's been going back to the corner. Peter's saying get back in there as well. But it does make you mentally stronger, that kind of thing, doesn't it?
Definitely. It was all been under my breath Don't think he's ahead. Yeah, it's been brutal.
We're just going to let you go because I know that Claressa is waiting in the wings to come in. How much are you looking forward to Saturday? Because it is going to be such a historic moment for boxing.
I can't wait, honestly. I've waited since I turned pro. This is what I've wanted. To headline an arena, to be back in with the best in the world, fighting for all the belts. This is what I've waited for.
We can't wait to see you. Best of luck. Good to speak to you, Peter. I'm sure we'll all catch up again tomorrow at the weigh-in, but we'll let you exit. I love that. I thought he'd been watching that TV show the way he was talking. That's the thing about Peterborough. He doesn't hold any punches, does he? He sort of shoots from the hip. You know exactly where you stand. Did you like that as a fighter?
Oh yeah, definitely. Straight talker. Gets down to it. Doesn't pull any punches either. But look, she's going to have to. If she's going to beat Claressa Shields, she's going to have to go to hell and back. So there's no. You've got to make sure you're prepared for it. So he's pushed her in training. Probably pushed her harder than he's ever pushed her before.
But that's not just a physical preparation, is it? That's mental as well,
but
surely.
Even when Peter was talking there about coming back to the corner, I'm quite sure, Matt, you got the same as me. That kind of motivation, that kind of talk. You want that. You think, that's what I want. I don't want anybody stroking me on the shoulder saying, you're all right, so I'm getting there. And I thought, to me, I like that. Just that little snippet there. And if that is for real, and Savannah didn't even deny that, I'm thinking she's been to hell and back. And that's what she needs to, because the harder the train is, the easier the fight will be.
Do you think Claressa, we can ask her ourselves when she comes in, do you think Claressa would have been doing the same, or do you think that's perhaps where Savannah could have the edge on Saturday?
I hope it's all talk. I hope she's done the work, and my old opponent and sparring partner Rudy May was here, and his fighter Sarah, who's boxing
on the stream, yeah.
She said she's been out there. She said Claressa's been training really, really hard. She's very impressed by everything she did. The inside track is, he said, look, Claressa's worked hard for this. Don't let her fool you. Don't let her underestimate you. 11 weeks she's been bang on it. My fight's been out there with her for 6 weeks, and that for what she's seen. But the question is this. I know when I used to spar with Rudy, sparring was hard. It was horrible. And that's how you want it to be, because it makes the fight so much easier. Now, unless she's playing possum and just publicly dismissing Savannah, but really respecting her working really hard, if that's what she's doing, and she's not playing possum, biggest mistake she can make.
Don't go anywhere watching at home, because Claressa Shields will be joining us very shortly. She's just doing a few more interviews, and this is highlighting just how big this night is on Saturday, isn't it? The media scrum that is around us, it is like those big fight weeks.
No, this is like. This
It is a big fight week.
This is no different than the big pay-per-view events that we do. There's as much media attention here for this fight as those.
Yeah, Claressa's just finishing up. She will be with us very shortly. The energy never goes from Claressa Shields, does it? It's always there.
She'll smile when she needs to smile. She'll growl when she needs to growl. And this is fight week. Remember, they've fought, they've trained. Nobody likes having to do this because it's mentally draining. Tomorrow's the final time they'll actually see each other before they get in the ring. So if you're getting the public workout yesterday, that emotional energy that was burnt then, the emotional energy that's burnt today.
But you forget that. All of us just watching, you forget how much doing these kind of things, the weigh-in, the media commitments, all in the run-up, which is all part of pro boxing.
You don't want to do it. It's the last thing you want to do. You just want to fight. So I get where they both are, but the energy they've got to hang about and carry on doing these. I'd be happy to slip out the fire exit once I've done the first bit and just get back to the hotel.
Which fight are you most looking forward to on Saturday?
Sorry?
Which fight are you most looking forward to on Saturday? Of course, the main event.
I think both the main event, but also Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgartner. I think both of those fights are real 50-50 pick-em fights.
How do you think that one's going to go, and where are you sitting right now on calling that fight?
I think Michaela will try and come out and stick it on her and force the pace and maybe offset her and don't let her get set to land the power shots. But she could be walking into the fire, could get caught on the way in, and if she does, it'll be interesting to see how she adjusts and adapts from that.
What about you, Johnny? Where are you sitting in terms of Mayer
Baumgartner?
Baumgartner?
Both two top fights, they're the ones that can grab our attention. And it's a case of which one is going to be the best fight of the night, because both fights have reason, have no-nonsense attitude towards it. You can see why all fighters would win. So I think how this fight turns out, it's going to be wicked, both of them.
And we'll also want to make a statement because the main events, Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall. You're standing right there. We are live, Claressa. How are you doing? We're just talking about the media commitments and having to talk to a lot of people. Is that something that you mind doing?
I don't care.
You don't care at all? You seem very ready to get it on. Is the talking all done now for you?
Yeah, I really didn't want to do the press conference. I was like, I've said what I have to say. I've done what I had to do. I've already faced off with her. Like, I thought this was kind of pointless, but whatever. We had to do it.
Do you feel that you have the edge over Savannah after what we've just seen up there? Do you feel like you got inside her head?
I got inside her head before, but today I was just purposely, I was trying not to say much because I really don't have much to say. You know what I mean?
That's unlike you.
Nah, I know, because if you guys ever cover my fights, then you will see this all the time. But it's like just the whole trash talking thing. Like I do it to make sure that we get attention and that people can feel what I'm saying. But it's time for me to put in the work now, so I really don't care to say too much more.
Very quickly, we will let you go because I know you want to get off. But what happens on Saturday night?
I become undisputed champion for the 3rd time.
Well, best of luck. We'll see you tomorrow at the weigh-in. Thank you for joining us, Claressa.
You guys have a good one.
Well, that's it. Talking's all done for today. Make sure you join us tomorrow for the weigh-in. It's one of those things, you don't want to miss it. We've just got 2 days to go until a historic night at the O2. Thank you, chats, for joining us. And thank you at home. We'll see you tomorrow.